you. See, now there it is. I can almost guarantee, anybody ever heard this? You know what's fucked up when you go to court? I'm going to tell a story real quick. I'm gonna tell a story. I used to have to go to court for ID hearings. Basically, what that means is somebody was using my name, and I would have to go in and prove that it wasn't me. So the first thing we do is we sit there and, what are you here for? I got to prove that it wasn't me. Never heard that in court, ever. So then I had to sit there because it literally wasn't me. I had someone using my identity, making up, using my name, my birth date, and getting speeding tickets all over the place. Epic 7, all over the place. But it used to be weird. I used to get this deep breath when I'd be like, yeah, no, I'm here to prove it wasn't me. And everybody's like, oh, that guy. So what I'm asking you, Club Seals, people banned me for no reason. Do you really think that's what happens? Do you really think that you were in this chat and literally we just pulled your name out of a hat and just banned you for no reason? For no reason. Literally. Sure thing. But you know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. It's crazy. Maybe it was just mistaken identity. Maybe they thought it was you, but it wasn't you, and they just put in the wrong name because you have to spell it out. I didn't ban you. Because if I banned you, I know what the cause was. You were talking shit, pissing me off. I didn't ban you. Reverse judge, guilty until proven innocent. But if you really want me to go back through Club Seals and find out what it is that you exactly said, I can pretty much go back through every VOD word for word and find it. I'm sure you did nothing. Yes, you can go back and look, Reaper. Someone else banned me for no reason. I get that. I hate penguins. So the name before was I hate penguins. And I'm sure that's you did nothing. I don't know. So what do you want me to tell you? As you're in here under a different name. You want your name back? Here's what I'm not going to do. I'm personally not doing shit but hitting play on this here video. I'm asking, why did I get banned? It was Tornux. It's I hate penguins. And here's the deal. You were banned for talking about dude jerking off in a burrito. Talking about the sizes. You got timed out, then you harass Selector. Talking about the D way too much, making everybody uncomfortable. Let me tell you something. When you start making chat uncomfortable, that's pretty much, you gotta go. What do you mean so? When you're affecting chat. Handworthy. Ready to go? Nobody was uncomfortable. I do it all the time. As you're banned. As you're coming in here with a different name because you got banned, and it was nobody was uncomfortable. Yeah, pretty much, yeah. That's exactly, man. Nobody was uncomfortable at all. So you were banned. Working? Yeah, no, please don't misconstrue why I'm laughing. I'm not laughing because what got you banned. I'm laughing that you're coming back and trying to figure it out and be like, I don't see what the problem is. I'm laughing that you're going to come in here and you know why I'm laughing? Because I'm allowing you to dictate chat already. Because my stream has already started with me listening to somebody crying. When I wanted to talk about something a little more serious here in a minute, I want to talk about suicide. I want to talk about being your own best friend, the shit that I talk about all the time, that I do talk about. Learning how to be your own best friend. But goddamn, some of you are literally trying my patience. I mean, you're testing me. And I'm not talking about just right in here. I'm not talking about somebody getting banned in here one time. I'm talking about chasing me around in Facebook and chasing me around in Instagram and chasing me around on Twitter and chasing me around. It's like, please stop chasing the guy. Leave him be. You know? Be like, man, I just want to know why I got banned. I was only talking about so much shit that made people uncomfortable. Why am I banned? as I got it, what I'm about to say. Yo, PP Touch, thank you for the 2 months. PP Touch, thank you so much for the 2 months. See, it's just, we just gotta, man, you gotta laugh. You gotta laugh, man. You gotta. And then PP Touch with the bits. I can't, you see what I'm saying? There's not much and I love all of you. I do, I love you. Look, if you got banned, it's because you have to realize, we have mods. We have mods. And that's, you know what I'm saying? We have mods. And mods ban. But you know what the cool thing about me making somebody a mod is? And this is a fact. They deemed themselves, I trust them enough, you know what I'm saying? I'm not going to go back on them. Nothing I can do about it. 10 years ago in Vegas, around the time Driven was released, battling a sickness legit, you helped me in many ways. You didn't know after the small talk I had with you. I'll never forget it. That means a lot, Scrap Pack. That does. That means a lot. You know, and it's like I said, man, you can be one of the top streamers in the world. Be one of the most rich and successful people, one of the most famous people. And yet they commit suicide. And you're like, why? Why would they do that? They have money. They have fame. They have, they have what people would deem everything. Everything. Because you're looking at the outside and you're making a judge. Because that's what we do. We look in the window and we can't help it. You get to see the display. You get to see the you get to see everything. Right? We make our own opinions. You know what I'm saying? We make our own opinions. That's why I think the one thing I learned more than anything when I talk to everybody is learn how to be your own best friend. Because if you think about it, learn how to be your own best friend, what that truly, truly means. It doesn't matter what other people say, do, what they have going on in their lives. You can sit there and you can, if you've ever been around this stream, you know what I talk about. You know what I mean? You know what I talk about. Learning how to say the cool shit to you. Learning how to be your own best friend first is literally the hardest thing in the world for somebody to do. Literally, the hardest thing in the world for somebody to do. Because then you have to take on other people. And once you start adding in a crowd, and you start adding in other people, other opinions, it doesn't make it any easier. I can't tell you all enough how important it is to learn how to be your own best friend first. Say the shit that you would say, you know what I mean? That you would want other people to say to your mom, to your dad, to your family, to your kids, to whoever it is. Learn how to say that shit to yourself. I'll defend anybody. No matter what. Quick. But I'll say the neatest shit to myself. I'll pick on myself. I'll make fun of myself. I'll rip on myself. I'll say things over and over repetitively to myself. But if any one of you were to walk up to me and say those things, you know what I'm saying, that I say to me, you know we fighting. So, but the reality is, again, money. You know, everybody thinks when you look on the outside and you look in, oh, they have it all. They're rich. They're famous. They can ride around in an airplane, you know, helicopters, airplanes, whatever. The reality is this: if you don't know how to say good shit to yourself, it doesn't matter. None of it matters. Anything in the world. You know how hard it is to get up and just run every day? It's hard as shit. I don't like doing it, but I got to do it because I want to, because I want to get in shape. You know how hard it is just to diet every day? I don't like it, but I want to get in shape. You know how hard it is every day to put a smile on your face? You know what I'm saying? Put a smile on your face to just be happy. It's tough because there's a lot of people out there, like I said, man, just want to knock that shit off your face. I don't know why some of the most famous people I've ever seen commit suicide, but it led me to believe in one thing that's a fact. One thing that I know is above everything else. And it's the only thing that I've garnered from all these years of everything that I've been through. And that's why I said it's taken me my entire fighting career to finally come up with what it is I want to speak about for the rest of my life as a speaker. Learn how to be your own best friend first. Why is it okay that if somebody were to say something to one of my family members right now, derogatory, you know what I'm saying? We already know what would happen. But why is it okay I can say it to me? Why is it okay I can treat myself like that? And to me, that's got to be the most important thing in the world. Because if you think about it, people are literally their opinions. And if you allow those opinions to affect you, we got to keep that scale. I always talk about it all the time, man, in front of all you. You know what I'm saying? Is you got to keep that scale even. Because every night there's plenty of people out there that just want to just knock the smile off your face just because you have one. They just don't give a why they don't care. They know they're not smiling and they just want to knock it off your face. How many people walk into this chat literally and start saying negative shit right off the bat? And they don't even know, they don't know anything. You know what I'm saying? Then you'll get 3 or 4 that are giving you a high five, but behind your back going, you, that dude, why, where's mine? Where's mine? That guy. But in your face, they're smiling. And then you'll have 2, 3 people at best that are truly happy for you just because you're happy. So what that tells you is this: if you don't know how to be your own best friend, we're going to have a lot of uphill battles. And you know what fame and fortune and all that does? Just brings you that many more people that you have to, more opinions. Goes back to what I told you. People on an individual scale, pretty gangster. Getting to know people and getting to hang out with them on a small scale is badass. That's why I love my chat. That's why I don't look at how many viewers I have, because I keep a small chat that I can see, I can watch. But when you start bringing it into a bigger the group, the more you're going to have to listen to. And if you're not at least being good to yourself, then you're going to have a real problem. And time, none of that shit's going to fix it. Again, fake friends are cool for a certain part, right? They're cool for the likes. They're cool for the views. Like, it gives me a bigger view number. And how many people are your, you know what I mean? How many people are your, how many do you have of your people? It's like I tell people all the time, it's like people like Max asked the other day that was gaming with Carson. I call him my nephew. Is he legitimately by blood? No. But there are people like, I call Snoop Eye, even though he's in here now. I mean, he's my brother. You know what I'm saying? But the reality is, but it's not by blood, it's by choice. And that's even closer. You gotta learn how to be your own best friend, above all. You gotta keep that scale. You got to keep that scale, man. You got to keep it even.
For those of you guys in chat who don't know, right? Like this morning.
Can I do a picture or a video or something? Can we do a news without glorifying it? Or
you can, yeah. Just pull up Twitter. It's all over your Twitter right now. Yeah. So, but I mean, so here's the deal, right? For those of you guys who don't follow, and I know we don't have a whole lot of gamers in chat right now, right? But a pretty big member of the World of Warcraft and streaming community, just in general, right? Like Reckful was sort of one of the first. I mean, of the live streaming celebrities, quote unquote, I guess you could say. So, dude had been dealing with depression, and this morning finally just ended it. Right, killed himself, committed suicide. So the topic of discussion today has been, with a lot of creators, has been on mental health and depression and what you can do to, you know, if you're in a position where you need help, if you need to reach out to somebody, you know, knowing your support system and knowing what resources are available to you and all of these types of things, right? So, and I think Jen's is sort of particularly positioned because this has been it's been a topic that we've spoken on.
This has been my stream
for years, right?
From day one, this has been my stream.
So, Jen's, my question to you, right? Like, if we're going to have a talk about it, let's have a talk about it, right?
Here comes the so let's go.
If you're in that position, right? Like, let's just say somebody in chat, right, is having these issues and they're sitting there, they're hard on themselves, they're beating themselves up, they're running through depression, they've been dealing with depression. What is the first step? Like you say, learn to be your own best friend.
I'll tell you, no, the first step.
What's the first step to getting to that point?
Here's the first step. You just have to, and it's Smiles and Cries. What movie was that, man? Smiles and Cries. And he kept saying it over and over about Smiles and Cries. Training day. You just have to find, yes, but look, I got goosebumps. You have to be able to find a smile. Could you imagine if all you did inside of you is just you thought of the cries? The cries. And you think of like this weight on my shoulder, this weight on my shoulder, this burden happening, this person saying this is happening, this is what I'm doing here. Smiles and cries, right? And at that point, when you do get to that situation, you just need to find a smile, a ember, a spark. And what I'm saying is where that works into the way I train or the way that we do other things is you need to know sometimes it's chemical. There's no suck it up. But the reality is, you just want to find a smile. Because you just want to get that lifting feeling.
In periods of mental instability or mental health issues, though, like what if you literally cannot, like, what do you do? I can't imagine being in this position. I mean, I've been depressed before, but never like never to the degree where I didn't feel like I was in control of my actions. But from a lot of what I've seen on Twitter and a lot of what I've seen on the news and a lot of the stories that you hear about these things, hell, Reckful's last tweets are, like the last things that he put out publicly are about him not feeling like he has control over himself. So if you don't have control over yourself, how can you be expected to, quote unquote, find that ember, find that smile? Find something.
The deal. I know.
You feel me?
So yeah, no, I do get what you're saying. But that's at the same token is how hopefully you haven't pushed enough people away that somebody can help you. Again, a coach, a mentor, a voice, somebody saying something, talking to you, somebody taking notice, somebody just saying something. You know what I mean? Somebody was just saying something that you can, because what you got to do is you have to be able to, yes, and it starts with someone just reaching out and just talking, but they got to trust you because they're going to be so freaked out on that side, right? So they have to find that deal, and that's what's so tough about it is they have to be willing to look for it. Because otherwise, you can't just go walk around going, you're depressed, let me fix you, right? So there's the fine line. There's that moment. Even if you want to go get put on medicine, and even if you want to go get put on whatever. But if you don't realize it, he had tons of people around him trying to help him, which is the other thing. Because now it comes into being the alcoholic, which is they're playing that game. That becomes the addiction. People trying to find it and people trying to give me answers and people they let me know they love me by trying to catch me drinking or trying to catch me. You know what I'm saying?
I think that's the point that I was trying to make.
I know what you're saying.
The responsibility is not necessarily because, and I think there's a very important distinction to make because whenever you say, it's the responsibility of the person that's dealing with depression.
It's no responsibility. It's not a responsibility.
To try to find that. I think there's a modicum of responsibility.
There's no responsibility. Right. There is when it's something that touchy, when it's something like that. I said an ember. Remember what I said? I didn't say we're looking for responsibility. We're not looking for blame. We're looking for a spark, just a spark of something different. Because if you're always in there beating yourself up over and over and over and over, all it takes is one comment.
Yeah.
That you weren't ready to hear.
Yeah, and I think social media has exasperated.
And you do it. And this thing is getting so hard. And it was hard because we're starting this stream right off the bat. And I'm trying to have this kick-ass time doing this whiskey thing, but also at the same minute, this instant negativity comes flying in. No matter where it goes, I used to think when I was a kid, hey, when you get to a certain age, that high school shit's done with. Or the childish shit that we do. When I get into junior high, remember who you always hear me talking about this. You always hear me saying this. When I'm in elementary, I can't wait to get to junior high. When I get to junior high, then we'll be big boys and girls. All right, when I get my ass, you know what I mean? When I get my ass into high school, now we're going to be big boys and girls. All right, when we get to college, we got to be adults by then. All right, when we get into real life, now we're grown-ups. And then you watch these 80-year-olds and these 70-year-olds that run our country fight like they're goddamn children. It never ends. Ever. There is no magical day, but I remember when I was a kid getting beat on all the time, punched on by my father, thinking that there would be a day where people just got older and they just didn't act like this. And then you start seeing shit like this and you realize it never ends.
Well,
But what I mean by that, hold on, but what I'm saying is, no matter what the age, you still feel this shit and people still fight like this. And it's like, where the does it stop? I know where. And I'm telling you, it's the only thing I can tell you. It's the only thing that I've learned from this point on. If you don't learn how to be your own best friend, and it's like training, and what I was trying to say real quick. When I first started, I couldn't run 12 miles. I got up and I walked. And then I got up the next day and I walked again. And I walked again and again and again. Just like when I didn't want to stream a lot. But guess what? I turn it on, even on the days I don't want to. You know what I mean? I just start walking. Walking turned to jogging. Jogging, now I'm running. Now I'm running every day. And then you know what the hard part is about that? Continuing it, keeping it going. So what I mean is you have to train. You have to sit there and learn how to say some cool shit to yourself every day. And you have to drill it in your head every day. But it's like, remember this about when people talk about fighting. And now that I'm done fighting, and I don't get to, and it's over. I walked away. I was so depressed. I walked away from. I didn't train. I was getting unhealthy. I was getting fat. I was getting. You know what I mean? Because I didn't want to be around it. Because it broke my heart. It broke my heart to be done. Then all of a sudden, I got into this. One smiling face. One promise, because it's Curse Labs who's in chat. Curse Labs who's like, hey, we're going to build this. You got to stream. All right. I promise you I will. Accountability, right? To people that you don't want to let down. Your family, your wife, your kids, your whoever. You know what I mean? Your husband. I mean, whoever. Your mom, your dad, your brother, whoever it is, right? The problem is it just consistency. But it's so hard because everything, the only thing that's consistent in a lot of minds is the negative shit they say to themselves. Like, I feel like crap. I hate this. I can't stand this. Are they smiling at me, or are they smiling at me because they just made fun of me? Are they trying to give me a high five like those two kids that were screaming at me? They were looking at me the one time and I was having a bad day, hopped the up and just jumped up in the restaurant and go, what the you two looking at? And then one was like, aren't you Jens Paul? I was like, shit. And I had to apologize. I don't know how to tell anybody this. The only thing I can tell anybody is this is repetition. Like in anything that we do, right? Repetition. Problem is we're so good at saying negative shit, it comes out like it flows like a river. And yet saying positive shit is such an uphill run. It's such an uphill battle. And then all of our leaders and all of these people, they still fight like this. And then if you turn on the news, you're like, oh my God, I got to stop here. Or unfortunately, you know what I mean? You go into, it's so hard in this day and age because I'm trying to keep these tears in, so I'm having a struggle. This is the one thing that my whole life has taught me. The only way I can say this, the shit that I've done, traveling, everything that I've been through. Remember, like I told you, if it led me to right here, right now, today, I'm very happy. I'm happy to be streaming. I love my wife, my family. And so guess what? All of a sudden, those things that are haunting you in the back, they're not so bad. If you can love who you are right now, you can love who you are. If you can say something kind to yourself, if you can say just one kind thing, then guess what? Everything you've done up to this point is worth it. If you can just find a smile. So what brought me my smile? This stream. Being able to rap and talk and pass on, because that's what I'm supposed to do. Too many people did that for me growing up. Too many mentors, too many coaches. Too many people, too many parents take me to my wrestling tournaments to help my mom. It's just, it's one of those things you have to learn how to be your own best friend. I'm not talking about being cocky and pompous. No way. But you have to learn, because even being your own best friend is learning how to block shit away. Like the one thing I like about, like I've learned from my wife all the time, I call her Solace. It was a joke. But the reality is, it's not really a joke. Doesn't take shit. You don't hear it. Doesn't even fade her. You know, and I'm not a pro at this, but I do know this. When my cousin shot and killed himself when I was a kid, to this day, I spend my entire life looking at this on my hand. You know? And I always say, never close the door on a person you're going to be in 5 years because you're going to want something different. But the reality is, if you don't know how to be your own best friend right off the bat, if you don't even know how to keep the scales even, you know, it's going to be a struggle. And I look down at this idiot stamp, and I'm just, you know, I can stand up, I can look at my family right now and just be so thankful I didn't pull that trigger. And I look at my family and everybody, they blame themselves so much for him when he killed himself. He's only 16 years old and he shot himself. You know? What kind of problems do you have at 16? Just like people, I'm sure, say about Bernstein, you know? What kind of problems could you have being this big streamer? Or what they'll say about somebody, he's rich and famous. What kind of problems could he have? The biggest.
I think there's a lesson for everybody in all of this. Outside of the obvious, the topic is desensitization, right? Like there's a certain degree of anonymity that comes along with, you know, with me being called Curse Labs on here, with, you know, the Armenian being called the Armenian, with Bleezers being called like nobody knows. I don't know these people's real names, right? Like, so they can come in here and they can treat you like shit. I'm not saying that they are, not saying that anybody is, but there's like, they can. And people, there's this psychological thing where, oh, well, I can get out on the internet, I can talk shit to whoever I want to, and it'll be okay because they don't know that it's me. But at the end of the day, that person still knows that, I mean, on the other end of these usernames in chat, that's a real person. That's a person out there. And whether you want to say opinions, you know, other people's opinions don't matter. At the end of the day, whenever you're sitting there trying to go to sleep at night,
they matter.
That shit matters. You know what I mean? So like,
it matters.
There's a lesson in this in terms of
even.
Don't misunderstand that the words that you say on the internet do actually have and can actually have real life consequences, right? Like that's I think a lot of times we forget that shit because it's real easy to just, you know, type in chat some stupid shit and hey, let's see how he reacts to this one. You know, oh, let me see if I can get this guy to fly off the handle. I can get a clip. I can put it out there on LSF thread. You know, like it's too easy to forget that a lot of times that shit has real consequences.
Is that for real? Reckful's older brother committed suicide as well.
Yeah. His middle brother. There are three brothers, from what I understand. There are three brothers. The oldest one committed suicide. The youngest one committed suicide, and because his the middle brother was on Twitter earlier. It was like literally like legit the most depressing thing I've ever seen. He's like, you know, I have no siblings left. If you've got stories and pictures of them, you know, feel free to share here. It's like, it's so sad, man.
It's horribly sad because and all I get to say is about my cousin, but I just knew it's like, and I do remember being 12 years old and he was supposed to come visit. And I'm thinking to myself, why wasn't I worth? Why I really wanted to see him. Nope. You know what I mean? I know how bad it is with the parents, but I'm just saying the way it affects everybody. It's like, well, why wasn't everybody says it inside their mind? Like, well, why weren't we worth it? Or, you know what I mean? It's a very selfish thing that they do. And, you know, but again, it makes you wonder, how bad are they just wanting to be done with it? You know? And again, all I can say is I don't know, because it's so easy. Look at the way everybody's fighting right now. Look at how everybody's fighting. Fighting. It's everywhere. But it's that fight that's inside your head, keeping that scale even. But it's like everything. It's like a workout. It's like, and this is all I've learned. It's literally a workout. Every day, I've been saying it how long in this stream? Wake up and say one good thing to yourself. Set it up in a week and then say 2 good things, then 3, and don't stop doing it. It goes back to what I was talking about, why I stopped fighting, and everybody's like, well, you could do one more fight. Yeah, but it's like the alcoholic. Once I kick the alcoholism, I can't go back to the bar and go, I got it fixed. Set. See, and that's the other thing, 2020 of an entire year, which it is. It's been a crazy,
It's
crazy
not an
year,
issue
but
of
it's not-
2020,
But
though.
the thing is,
I mean, that's
I don't
not.
know if it's so much the issue of 2020. It's what people are focusing on right now. And again,
I mean,
it's
we
the
had,
media, and
yeah.
it's so hard to turn it off because it's in our pockets. Literally, the news is in our pockets. Anybody can reach us, and they get mad if you don't. Think about it like this.
It's
You
not
know-
even. It's not even an issue of the news, though, Jens. Because you
Oh no,
had,
I'm not saying no. I'm not. I didn't mean the news. I
We
meant
had
because
Philip
we have a
Seymour
full.
Hoffman.
No,
We had
no,
fucking
no, no, no.
Robin
I meant,
Williams. We
I
had
didn't
Anthony
mean news like
Bourdain.
that.
We
I
had
didn't mean news. I
all of
meant
these massive
have-
people.
No, we have a phone in our pocket. We can hear the news. We can see the media. We can be in touch with anything that we want to see internet wise because it's probably in our. Is what I meant. I apologize. I should have said that differently. We're just in a negative mind frame. Once we get in that negative mind frame, the shit just starts to pile up and pile up. They're no longer hurdles that we jump over because we're out there kicking ass and we're striving for a goal. We're trying to achieve something. We're hopping hurdles. Now they're big ass boulders coming at us like, why are they trying to knock me off this hill? But when I was climbing for that world title, I'm running up that hill on a full charge. Everything's coming at me, just dipping out of the way and moving because we know where we're going, right? How you look at it, which is so hard to do because you have to drill it from the inside. You have to drill it from the inside. It's because I'm telling you, and if we quit, it's just like being in shape. We get out of shape real quick. We have so much against us. We have so much against us when it comes to positivity and thinking positive to yourself. All it usually takes is just one person. And why is that? Remember what they say? It takes 99 positives to erase a negative. I know people aren't going to like this take, but I think the internet as a whole is a bad thing. It separates us physically, presents an entirely fake world to us.
Socially, yeah, I agree 100%
No, it's
with that
100. No,
with that
it's
comment.
Bleezers. It's what. Remember what I said. What's the number one threat? The ultimate weapon man created and never truly understood the power of it. The internet.
I mean, there's a lot of good. There's a lot of
good
good from it, but
just like in
there's-
anything, there's a lot of good. In, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Ironically, there's a lot of good in guns. If you're trying to go out there and make food, and you know what I'm saying, but we know how people it can be negative real quick. That's why we're not trying to argue. No, I don't argue. But what works for you may not work for others. And understanding this and seeing people where they stand is truly seeing them. It goes a long way helping them.
Yep.
I love
That's
this. You're
true.
talking about. I know I get you, Griffin, but here's the deal. But here's one. This shouldn't be an argument. Learning how to be positive to yourself. If that's an argument, you're already in trouble.
I think what he's trying to say is that is not necessarily. I don't think he's downplaying the virtues of being positive to yourself, but maybe perhaps saying that being positive to yourself is not always an automatic solution. And you can be positive to yourself all you want, but if everybody else is being negative to you, then I mean, dude, that's the thing, right? Is like mental health issues they're no joke, and they manifest in weird ways, right? So there is no one size fits all solution. But it is on. I mean, the one size fits all solution is support system, man.
If it's an argument if you have mental illness that prevents anything of being positive and making it stick. True. But even if you have to get quote unquote medicated, right, or anything like that, but you still have to drill it. That's the part. A pill just won't. Taking just a pill will start to help you. Getting your stomach cutting it, stapled so you can start your diet, it'll start to help you. What that's supposed to start to help you do is get on that pathway so you can get in there and start repetitive, drill. It's not just a fighting thing, it's in whatever that you do, right? You can't ease up on it. You have to be just as much towards positivity as anything that you do in life. Because there's a big ass wave of negative waiting for you. Literally. Why do you, again, my statement, I've been saying it from day one. What I learned about being quote unquote famous, 10 people. I always use 10 people. I've been saying that for how many years? 10 people. I know I'm holding up a 5, but you know what I mean. 10 people. And I say it every day because it's what I learned. It's not what I learned because I read about it. It's because what I've learned and what I've dealt with every day, including this stream from the second I hit start. 3 or 4 people want to knock that smile off your face just because they don't have one. They don't give up while you're smiling. They don't care. They just want it off your face because they don't have one. Period. 4 more. And I'm being generous when I say 4 will high five you and tell you awesome. Turn around behind you and go, F that guy. Fucking him. But they'll look at your face and give you a big hug and a high five. Yeah. And then you'll have 2 that are genuinely happy for you. Just because no other reason than you're smiling. You know what makes what I love about this? You know why I love about this stream for the most part? And why I love chat? Because you're only in here to be positive. You're only in here to be affected and to grow and to have fun and to, you see what I'm saying? But then there's those occasional few that are in here and they only want to do one thing. They're already trying to figure out what smart ass comment they can say. They're already trying to figure out how they can come in here and knock this smile off my face, even though it's tears of joy. It's not joy, but it's tears of understanding. You know what I mean? It's tears of positivity because we're having a positive conversation. And yet there's people right now trying to figure out how they can come in here and that. And then we put ourselves out there. You know what I mean? The one thing about being young and being bullied, all I had to do was go home. Well, that sucks. I had an abusive father. But all I should have been able to do is go home and everything was okay. You see what I'm saying? Everything was okay. But what happens when you can't go home and turn it off? And I understand that now because we have that whole ordeal of social media. But see, back in my day, I get woke up in the middle of the night. Oh, hey, he's choking the life out of my mother. I got to get upstairs. I'm about to take a beating. But I'm not going to hesitate because he's choking the shit out of my mother. And I got to go upstairs. It wasn't via Skype or Twitter. It wasn't Instagram or Facebook. That's what I went home to. As I got picked on and bullied at school, that's what I went home to. Make sure my family was still alive. What I'm saying is, how did that? I got a brother serving 55 years in prison. Had a lot of shit to deal with when it comes to that. You know what I mean? And I went on to win a world title. It's again, everything is how you take it, bring it in, ingest it, and spill it back out, right? But that's what I'm saying. All I'm trying to say when I say about learning how to be your own best friend, you got to give yourself goals. You got to give yourself just that ember, just that spark sometimes is all you need to get you to the light, right? To get you to the path. I can't tell you what that is. It's not something I can argue with you about or I want to argue about when I'm saying it, but we do all need that. And the only person we're truly going to get that from in the beginning, that little spark, is from ourselves. And I'm not talking about sitting there being fake about it. Believe it. Like, you ever met somebody? One of my best friends on the planet. When I first met him, I didn't like him. I thought, no way. Way too positive, way too upbeat. That was so tainted in my life, in the way that I was, in the coaching, the way that I was brought up, being abused, all that shit. I was just so tainted that I used to think someone's being nice, that's the way to get in so they can just put the knife in your back. And I didn't grab it. And then I kept talking to him. I'm like, God damn, he really is just a positive person. And it blew my mind. I thought it was the coolest thing in the world. But I'm like, and so I started asking, like, how in the do you do this? How do you do this? Some have God. How do you do this? Some have, like a faith, whatever that faith is. So I don't mean God as in just in Jesus Christ, but whatever your being is. Some have goals. How do you do this? Some have, I don't know, but that's for everybody to find, right? Snoop, like, what is one for you?
For me, personally, what keeps me going?
That keeps you going like life, but I'm just saying, just on the day to day, you know what I mean? What allows us to keep the scale, remember, keep the scale at even. And
family goals. Yeah. I haven't accomplished a tenth of what I want to accomplish. I mean, and until I do, like, I'm not done. You know what I mean?
You see what I'm saying? CBD helped me now. Okay, now with CBD and stuff, Trey, though, CBD definitely helped me later. It helped a lot. Keep me touched, TY. Family, But see,
That's the thing,
family is
though.
also the problem. Is could be the family can also be the frustration. So what family? Like I said, my
Well, and
brother's
that's
using
the
my name. I had 14 warrants for my arrest. He's out there using my name left and right. I got to keep going to jail. You know, I had what 14 warrants? Yeah, 14 warrants out looking for me. I mean, so it just depends how you look at it, how you perceive it. That's why I say family isn't always your blood. It's who you. It's
well,
your
none of them
choice.
are always. None of those are always going to be right. I mean, like for me, like I said, for me, it's family, it's goals. Those may be the very same topics that might be driving somebody else towards that, though. You feel me?
Yeah.
Like it's not like there's a certain amount of, and I'm going to use this word, and it's going to, I know it's going to trigger a whole lot of people, but there's a certain amount of privilege to being able to say, I have, my family and I have my goals, and that's what keeps me going. Right. But if you look at it just on the base level of what that word means, right. I am privileged in that I'm very fortunate to have a family that I consider a worthy thing to continue pushing forward in life for and with. So, but that's not to say that everybody has that same. It's like your own experiences, right? Like whenever you were growing up, you had family, but only part of your family, was in that regard. So,
But I had a wrestling family. I had a fighting family. I had, you know what I mean? My friends that I call my best friends that I called a brother. You know, I called them brothers, and I mean, my sisters and things like that. Again, it's just, and a lot of parents that took the time to take me to wrestling tournaments, and the personal crew, right? That a lot of coaches gave me their time. Parents, would sit there and wait for me to finish wrestling. And
Hammerjack, we're not debating shit, man. Just to make that clear, like if you
is
just
this
joined,
debate night all over?
it's not a
This isn't a
yeah, it's not a
debate
debate. This is
at
just
all.
like it's an awareness
It's
issue,
just a
man.
message that a lot of people, you know what I'm saying? There's a lot of negative. There's a lot of things that we can easily let grab a hold of us. And if we're already spiraling, it can just be gas in the car. You know what I mean? It's just gas in the car. And you just have to learn how to, and that's what I'm saying is you just have to learn how to. My only message I would tell anybody, like I said, if you were coming in to watch me speak, I would be talking about this right now. Learning how to be your own best friend first. That is how people with mental illness struggle through each day. Yeah, man. Like I said, anxiety and depression. Here's the thing. The other reason, do you know how, here's what I was talking about before. One day I just stopped, man. It almost killed me. I messed up on the medication they had me on. I OD'd, and it damn near, I took an ass whooping. An ass whooping. Ain't no point in bringing it up, but I said, I'm never taking this shit again, and got off it. I started looking for alternatives with anxiety and depression. My anxiety was so bad. These guys, only because I promised Snoop I, Curse Labs, and Thomas that I would do it if they built it, basically. The only reason why I hit play. And I tell you, every day I've told myself at least twice, let's go do something else. Twice. Now I'm going to turn on the stream. Why? Because I said I would. Told you all I'd be here. Told Sean I'd be here. Told everybody. Every day my anxiety tells me, man, don't. Fuck it. And every day I got to battle that. I'm not saying that works for everybody else. That's what it does for me. Okay? Anxiety and depression. And I learned a lot when it comes to anxiety. And this is why sometimes I drive my wife nuts. I know I drive Curse Lab nuts. I know I drive him nuts. But Thomas taught me this a long time ago about anxiety. It's just because it's a lack of knowledge. So one of the first things you can do for yourself. The one thing is, I'm starting to think Cha-Cha Zoog. Oh, T-Y. See, there you go. I already got turned off. I quit. I'm done. I've already got sidetracked. Now I can't even watch fights. No, it's knowledge. All right. So the thing that helps me is just knowledge about a situation. If a situation has my anxiety going up, same thing about if I'm getting ready to fight in front of millions of people, what's the one thing that's going to help me feel a little bit better? I trained my ass off. I drilled. I've got a plan. I've got an idea. I've got great coaches. I've got a huge fan support. I've got phenomenal family. I've got all these things in front of me. And yes, I'm still shitting my pants, but woo, I'm moving forward because why? Because I trained my ass off for this thing and I got as ready as I possibly can for the unknown that I'm about to step in there and do. What I'm saying is, but that's for everything that we do. Turning on this stream, I'm like, man, what person is going to come in and say something stupid today and really set me off? Because I'm sure they'll let me know in Facebook that they were so-and-so and I'm a piece of shit, you know what I mean? Or whatever it is. But I still turn it on. Why? Because it's what I want to do. And not everything's easy.
So just to sort of bring this to a head here so that you guys can watch some fights and shit. I think the main, like, we've built, this is something that I'm very proud of, actually. We occasionally have, these trolly douchebags who come in and spew shit all over chat, and you're going to get that. I mean, it's Twitch, it's the internet, it is what it is. But for the most part, we've fostered and built a really strong and positive community. And every single one of you dudes in chat, like, you know who you are. If you're not coming in here spewing bullshit, then you're one of the good ones, right? So if there's anything that I want everybody to take away from all of this, it's make sure that you have a support system in place, right? Because you never know when you're going to wake up, when you're going to feel like shit. And, I mean, nobody knows that they're having mental issues until they're having that shit, until you're in the thick of it, right? So, like, make sure you have a support system in place, please. And if that's us, if that's this chat, I mean, hey, bring it to us, man. Like, I can't always promise that I'm going to be there. I try to help as many people as I can. I can't promise that I can fucking do everything. I mean, at the end of the day, I'm not a psychologist. I'm not a psychiatrist. But if I can help you, if Jens can help you, just let us know, right? I mean, reach out to somebody else in chat. That's the most important thing,
Hey, look at Ledric. Hey, I can accept that voice on it. It's Curse Labs. Curse Labs is who it is.
I know. This like super random, like random. Hey, let me talk to this random disembodied voice on the internet.
Selector, since I gotta put it in, I gotta put it in here. I know a lot of people define themselves by their purpose. A lot of folks will say, "What is your purpose in life? Family, raise my kids, take care of my girl/man." Then you have folks with no family, no partner, and lack purpose in that regard. How do you go about reaching such people who defines their purpose and lacks it? Hard to tell them to care when you see them just empty, aside from missing soul of life. I think the biggest thing, though, again, is if you learn how to be your own best friend. I can be no good. I can't be any good to my wife, my kids, my friends. If I'm too busy beating myself up, I'm going to be shit to you. I'm going to be grumpy to them. I'm going to be pissed off to everybody. Right? And if I'm sitting there and I'm also so mad and pissed off that I'm actually literally going around just to watch people. And this is what makes this stream and shit even tougher is you can watch people go, you know what? I don't like this guy. And they'll go in and just start popping in hate. That's what they want. They like the hate. Because that means something ain't right. I don't know if any truly one person, or maybe that's the kind of, but if that's the kind of thing that brings you all the joy in the world, then again, damn, you kind of shit. Everybody has to have something that puts a smile on their face, even if being fucking mean is it. When I say learn how to be your own best friend, learn how to say one good thing to yourself. Even if that's one good thing. One good thing, and the rest of the day can be complete garbage. But every day, or at 7 a.m. or whenever it is, you say that one good thing to yourself. You're changing it up. Now what happens if you said two good things and you waited 5 minutes in between them? So you sat there and actually felt the good thing you said yourself, believed it, and then 5 minutes later you started feeling the dumps and you said something else. Like, goddamn. All right, we back up here flying again. Now you've just given yourself 5 good minutes. You know what I mean? I think the problem is people, it's not a problem, but because I'm learning. I don't know how to do it. I'm learning and learning and learning is how to make it a lifestyle. Like anything. If you want it to be your lifestyle, you got to work your ass off for it. You got to bust your ass. And that's why I'm just looking at this picture, you know. He left in a similar way as my older brother. I can't imagine these two. I can't imagine him right now. I have no
that shit's
siblings
so fucking
left.
sad.
That's
It's
horrible.
so sad.
It's horrible. It takes a lot. Maybe that's the easiest thing to do. You know, be there for someone else. It's easy to stand up for someone. You know? I don't know. But I know this. I hope everybody at least learns how to say one good thing to themselves every day. It'd be tough if you sat there and picked on yourself all day, every day. You'll never give yourself quiet. Don't know how to do, you know what I mean? You can't figure out that for yourself. Because odds are, what if you never get it from anyone else? Eternal struggle.